To Mike and Ed's barbecue here on Georgia Alabama Sports Live. It's the Glenwood Coaches Show, and I am with the man, Ryan Nelson. Coach, thank you so much as always. We got to start off with a handshake, baby. All right, Coach. First things first. You're in the playoffs. The Gators are back-to-back years in the playoffs. Anyone that second-guessed them about could they win in this classification? Can they win in the AHSA? I think that is proven already. Coach, first let's start with making the playoffs in your second year in this association. How do you feel?
Oh, this is a wonderful, feeling for our team and our program. To go ahead and clinch this thing four games into the region, and but we still got bigger goals, and so hopefully we can accomplish another goal this Friday night. But can't say enough about our ball team. Going on the road and playing in a tough environment. Playing a tough team, and they had one of the best backs in the state, and just a great game by our guys, especially in the second half.
Randolph County came in 4-1 on the season. Their only loss was the Lee Scott. Coach, it was 21-15 we were talking about in that first half. It was a back-and-forth game. It looked like it was going to be a high-scoring affair. Yeah. You go into halftime down 22-21, feeling like you could be up by 2 scores. What was the message to the team to come out and dominate the second half 28-0 like you did?
I think the biggest thing I challenged everybody at halftime was just don't leave nothing on the field, and don't have no regrets when we come out here in the second half, and we came there to do something, and I want our guys to understand in the second half, just go out there and play our style of ball. And I didn't think we played bad in the first half. We had a couple of things that didn't go our way, and then we had a big muff punt right there before half, and they kind of scored to push the lead, and then we threw an interception in the end zone right before half. So we were down, but like I said, I cannot say enough about our guys, and it wasn't just one guy thrift. It was a total team effort in the second half, and we had a lot of guys make a lot of plays in all 3 phases of the game, and probably the best half of football we played all year. And so we're very excited, for our team and for our coaches that we're able to go and accomplish that goal and get us back in the playoffs.
Coach, you go in an environment like that, you're not going to get a lot of calls. It's a place where they shut down the town. It's
That's right.
Hostile environment, and your guys respond. How about Stanley going in that type of environment? You talked about it off air, Coach. He was sensational in helping lead your offense, and he week in and week out, the man's efficient.
That's right.
He knows how to play the quarterback position.
Right. Well, he kind of struggled a little bit early, and which he hadn't struggled a whole lot since he's been in there, and so we kind of had to calm him down. But he made a big throw on the second possession on 4th down to Cal Lawrence over the middle for a touchdown, and I think it calmed him down a little bit. And then he comes back to the very next position and throws a really, really good ball in the window to Cal, and Cal breaks it for about a 60-yard touchdown run. So, but he did. He played really, really good in the second half. Cam Dawson had 3 touchdowns in the second half.
Jeez.
Yeah, and Cal had 3 touchdowns. Jalen up throwing for 6 touchdowns. So incredible night. Just offensively, through the air, and then Nate Malone running the football for us, Carter Judah running the football for us. So it was kind of one of them deals offensively the other night where, kind of how I like it. It wasn't just one weapon or 2 weapons. It was, all across the board. Zayden Hart had a few good catches and runs. Cade Cox had some big catches for us. Like I said, Carter Judah had some big runs. Jalen had some big throws. Cal Lawrence, can't say enough about him. I think he had 5 catches, 3 touchdowns for 150. I think Cam Dawson was right there. Same 5 or 6 catches, 3 touchdowns for, right at 160, 170. So very productive, but, kind of like I say every week, or I have said this several weeks, I'm just more impressed with our defense. And, we're talking about a running back, and, if you saw him in person, you would understand he is one of these type of backs that if you give him a crease, it ain't that he just getting a first down. Right. He's scoring. Right. And he led the state in rushing yards throughout every classification going into the game. I don't think he's had a game all year where he has rushed under 200 yards. And, we held their whole total offense to 216 yards. And we completely shut them out in the second half. He got to us a few times in the first half, had a few big runs, but I just can't say enough about our defensive staff. Coach McConnell, Coach King, Coach Boyd.
Great job.
Coach Gardner, Coach Bone. I mean, we made some adjustments at half on a couple of things, and then allowed our ends to kind of free up and play a little bit, a little bit more freely in the box and stuff. But, to shut them out and their offense out in the second half is just a wonderful job from our football team. And, we had some guys over there, Gray Gardner, Josiah Clark, Asher Long, Carter Judah, Caden Karakutis.
You better mention Karakutis now.
Klein Edwards, Tyler Clarity, Zayden Hart, Nate Malone. I mean, I can go on and on. Cal Lawrence, Cam Dawson at the corners came in, had some big tackles for us too. Just that's kind of the game that we had, game plan we worked on all week, and we talked about it all week is when you play a great player, one guy is not going to be able to stop him.
Right.
So it's got to be a total team effort. And I think we talked about it on the show last week, and that was the biggest thing I think I saw from our club on Friday was we came together and played a team game. So happy to get out there with a win, like you said, put us in the playoffs. We're 4-0 in the region now, so kind of got bigger fish to fry this Friday. So lucky to get out of there, out of Wadawi, and move on and get to the next one.
Coach, before we move on to the next segment, talking about the big game coming up this week against Dadeville, I do want to talk about the fact that your team's 5-2, and we kind of talked about where would you see your team, especially knowing that Clarity gets hurt in that first game. Stanley has come on and thrown, I think, just as many touchdowns, if not, he's one of the leaders in our area, over 20 this year.
Yep.
He's been great. You really got to be pleased where your team's at. 5-2, undefeated in region play, 17th through the season. If you were to ask you, how would you feel being at this point, 5-2, when your quarterback got hurt? I think you would take this every day of the week.
Without a doubt. I mean, you want to go undefeated every year like we did last year, and that's always a goal, and you want to win every game you play. But most importantly, in high school football, you got to win your region games because that puts you in the dance, that puts you in the playoffs. So, not to say that we wasn't trying to win the Valley or the Wadley game, because we were.
Yeah.
We want to be undefeated, but most importantly for us right now, it's the most important thing is winning these region games. So I'm very happy that we've been able to be 4-0 in our region games. But not just Trey injury. We've had 3 or 4 major injuries. You talk about Brandon Niles, you talk about Red English, you talk about Noah Klein. I mean, and then Trey. I mean, them were 4 guys that were bona fide starters for us this year, and they're out and they're gone. And we have been hit with the injury bug a little bit, but that's the thing for us is, like I said, just trying to come together as a team and just keep plugging along. But to answer your question, I really didn't know. I mean, as young as we were going into this year, as much as we lost them last year.
A lot of experience.
And then, but I will say that, when you deal with young teams, and I've dealt with this in the past, usually the more they play, the better you get. Now, that don't always mean you're going to win games, but you're trying to, put a better product on the field each and every week. So, just very, very happy where our team is right now. Like I said, we are 5-2, but most importantly, we're 4-0 in the region. And, through 7 ball games, we've clinched a playoff spot. So, what else can you say, be negative about our team besides we didn't win, a game on the road against a 5A school. And, Valley's got a really good program, and they got some really good players. And then we go on the road and lose to the number 1 team in 1A, which has won 20 straight ball games now. So, I mean, but the good thing about it, like I told you, playing those games, we're battle tested. So, we didn't flinch the other night when it was a back and forth affair at Randolph. We didn't flinch, and just like I told you, let's just keep playing. Eventually, going on the road back-to-back times to that area, the ball didn't really fall our way at all, and it finally did in the second half.
Yeah.
And, I told our guys, just keep believing in yourself, believing in what we do, and I thought we did that in the second half, and, we came out victorious.
Gators 5-2, 4-0 in region play. Big win, 49-22 over Randolph County. We're going to take a break. When we come back, they are a win away from clinching at least a top 2 spot in the region with a big one against Dadeville at home this Friday night. We'll take a break, talk about that coming up on the Glenwood Coach Show from Mike and Ed's Barbecue.
For the big, for the small, the short, and the tall. Peacemakers, risk takers. For the optimists, pessimists, exhibitionists. For long distance love. For the farsighted, nearsighted. For introverts and extroverts. For the thinkers and the doers. For old friends. Coca-Cola. For everyone.
We've got 3 games left.
Imagine making your dreams a reality, achieving your goals and aspirations, and having a financial partner that understands your dreams never sleep. At Kinetic Credit Union, we're more than just a bank. We're 40,000 members strong with local service, personal connections, and a nationwide network. Leading edge technology to help you make financial decisions easier, smarter, and safer. We are Kinetic Credit Union, the energy for your dreams.
Welcome back, everyone, to the Glenwood Coaches Show here at Mike and Ed's Barbecue on Georgia Alabama Sports Live with Ryan Nelson. His Gators 5-2, 4-0 in the region this year. Coach, all right, let's talk about it. Dadeville. Now, if you look at the record, I know everybody's going to be like, Glenwood should smoke them and be favored by 4 touchdowns. But if you actually dive deeper into it, you realize this team's lost several games in overtime, including last week to undefeated Lee Scott. So let's talk about this Dadeville team on what are some of the problems they present, and how do you get your guys prepared and motivated to win this game, knowing if you do, you clinch at least a top 2 spot in the region?
Well, from the motivation standpoint, I think it's simple. And I talked to our team today about this. Is for one, is senior night. The last home game, last regular season home game of the year. So, and this senior class is special to me. I mean, because we all came in together. They were freshmen my first year, and this has been a 4-year ride together. So, a very special senior group to me, and I just want to send these guys out on a high note. So that's a big thing for me personally. Then also for our program and our football team to clinch a home playoff game. And it's right here in our hands this Friday night. I mean, what else do you got to play for? I mean, so we kind of control our own destiny when it comes to that. And that's enough at stake for us to go out and want to play well right there. But they do. I mean, Dadeville, they lost to Elmore County first game of the year in overtime. They lost last week to Lee Scott in overtime. They lost to Randolph County by 1 point on the road. Reeltown beat them 14-0, and then they ended up beating Beulah. So they've been in a lot of close ball games. They got a really good football team. Their quarterback, I think that's the kind of the head of their monster, the coach's son. So he's really good, very, very good athlete, throws the deep ball really well. And then, like last year, man, they got really good players up front. And they got a lot of skill. And, last year when we went over there, it was probably one of the toughest games that we played all year. It was a back-and-forth game, and we ended up catching a pick late and scoring late and ended up winning 35-14. But they do present a lot of problems. Offensively, they give you a lot of formations. They do a lot of stuff. And same thing defensively. They're going to jump in and out of fronts and coverages. So it's just about our guys just, preparing this week and trying to go out Friday and execute at a high level like we did last week.
Coach, we were sitting here. I said it. Several other people walked up and you had said it. I can't wait for that Lee Scott game. Lee Scott game, region championship next week. And you keep saying, I don't care about none of that right now. My focus is on Dadeville. Yeah. How do you keep that message to your players, knowing what's coming up next week, but they focus on this week?
Yeah, but I mean, that's kind of in our building. We're not one of these programs that look ahead to this game. It's just the next game. Right. But that will take care of itself, Thrift. I mean, obviously that'll be next week, and you play for the region championship, that kind of stuff. But we have a goal right now that we can go attain and get this home playoff. And because, I still got a bad taste in my mouth from last year where we lost in the first round at home. So that's one of the goals personal of mine is getting another home playoff game for our fans. And we only had 4 home games this year. So that's something I want really big so we can pack it out. And hopefully we get another chance, another opportunity. I know it ain't the same team. It's a new year, but you get an opportunity to kind of, I guess, redeem yourself at home in the playoffs. So that's what we're playing for right now in this week. So there's no focus for next week on Lee Scott. There's no focus on that game. We don't look ahead in our program. We're worried about this game, and we got a big ball game because they got a very good football team.
Yeah, they do, Coach.
I promise you.
And Dadeville, as we talked about off air, if you overlook them, Coach, you could get beat, and then it's like you don't want to take any momentum you got right now with the big win over Randolph County. Now, your message to all the Glenwood fan base out there, the alumni, this is the final time some of your seniors, like Jalen Stanley, will ever get to put on a Gator uniform, guys that have been lifers there, been there their entire career. What is your message to the community of Glenwood to come out, support your team, and what's the final home game of the season, which is pretty crazy to say with 3 more weeks left, but you got to bye. You got Lee Scott on the road, and then the final week of the season, that's still a Cognitive.
Yeah, so it is last home game, and it is senior night, so that's enough said.
Right.
I mean, if you're a true Glenwood Gator fan,
you're going to be there.
you support our program, you support our football team, that's enough said. I mean, when you say senior night, it's always going to be the last, home game of the year, and this is it for us, and we're not guaranteed to play again at home. So that's the goal right now is just go do it for the seniors, go do it for our program so we can get that home playoff game, but I'm begging everybody to come out and support. Please. And, we had a great crowd that traveled to Randolph, and they support our kids last week, and it was a really good football game. So I expected them to show out and show up this week and have an excellent crowd and, continue to hopefully our team will play at a high level and, play with a lot of just class and, you know, play together as a team. That's the biggest thing. I want to see us continue to grow and play team ball and not be selfish and play for each other.
Well, I do want to say and put this out there for everyone. We will be traveling to Lee Scott and doing that game next week. But this week, we're going to be at home for senior night, Glenwood, Dadeville, 8 o'clock. You'll see it on Georgia Alabama Sports Live. But come to the Swamp, pack the house out, cheer on these Gators who clinched the playoff and now one win away from having a home field first-round matchup, which is, I know, going to be really big for your program, Coach. So thank you so much.
Thank you, Griff.
Hope we had a great time. Thank y'all, everybody, for tuning in, and we'll see you next time on the Glenwood Coach Show, Georgia Alabama Sports Live.